Hello students, so now we are going to discuss about the definition, history, scope and development of pharmacognosy, which is there in unit 1 of pharmacognosy. So here anyway lots of information it is available in internet and the e-books and so many journals, right? But when the question it will come into the exam, the students generally they confuse that which are the content we are supposed to write in which portion, whether it belongs to the scope or it is belonging to the development, what we are supposed to write in development of pharmacognosy, what we are supposed to write in the history parts. So there is a slight confusion among the students. So here I am trying to clarify that what are the content supposed to come in those particular area, right? So when coming to this, actually it is the topic itself is the definition, history, scope and development of pharmacognosy. So when we try to define, so definition part, what are the things generally when you ask the students what is the definition, they will be telling it is study of crude drugs or a study of natural drugs, right? So at the same time they will not be able to define it properly, right? So when it comes to the exam point of view, subjective exam, you need to define in a proper way what the pharmacognosy is, right? So here one definition: pharmacognosy may be defined as a branch of bioscience, okay, which deals about primary and crude types of drug, right? What type of drug? Primary, right? Primary and crude types of drug, okay, obtained from plant, animal and mineral origin, right? So these are the three kingdoms from where whatever the kind of drug, crude drug, right, which we are getting, that we are discussing in the subject pharmacognosy, okay. Now this much things you can write in the definition, right? Further the history also it may ask sometimes in the 5 marks question and sometime in the maybe in the large type of question also, right? So history means the series of contribution we are supposed to reveal here. So when we talk about history, the first since it is pharmacognosy history, we need to know about we need to reveal the pharmacognosy development right from the beginning. So the first name it comes, that is the C.A. Sadler, right? In 1815 he is the person or scientist who created the term pharmacognosy first, right? Where in his doctoral thesis Analectica Pharmacognostica, right? So he was a German scientist, a German scholar who in 1815 he has compiled so many types of crude drugs, and he is given the title of his doctoral thesis or whatever the PhD thesis he submitted over there. The name was Analectica Pharmacognostica, right? So this comes, you can reveal this as a first the history of pharmacognosy. But here the one thing which comes, that what is the meaning of pharmacognosy. So when we try to it is derived from two Greek word like pharmakon and gignoso, right? Pharmakon means a drug and gignoso means to acquire knowledge of, right? So in sum what we can say, this one the meaning is knowledge or science of drugs, right? So that's what this is what is pharmacognosy means. You can say knowledge of science knowledge or science of the drug, or the study of crude drug, something like study of natural drug, right? But if it is asked what is the definition, you should write in this way, right? Not don't describe this one only, okay. Now continuing to the history parts, we are having so many series of the scientists which we are supposed to discuss here, right? So the first thing which we can mention from Chinese pharmacy, Sen Nug, right? Sen Nug in 2700 BC, before Christ. BC means before Christ. So he was the emperor, that king at that time, who created Pen T Sao. This is the one of the treatise, one of the scripture at that time. Pen T Dash Sao, which was compiled 365 drugs, like 365 days in a year it is there, no, in that way 365 drugs was compiled by the Chinese guy, right? Then later on we are having in history Eber's papyrus, or papyrus Ebers also you can say in reverse this one. In 1550 BC, What was that? It was the collection of 800 prescription, right? Just one prescription. Whenever you are going to the doctor or physician, they'll be writing one prescription for cold, for fever, for COVID-19, like that. No, like that, 800 prescription for different disease and disorder. It was compiled here in the Ebers papyrus, and 700 drugs, right, for the different ailments. The length of this papyrus Ebers was 20 to 30 meter. You just imagine, 1 meter, 2 meter, not 1 or 2 meter. It is 20 to 30 meter length. It was there at that time. Okay, coming to the third one, when we move to the Indian Pharmacognosy history, the Rig Veda and Atharva Veda, it is very important Veda at that time, 3500 to 1500 BC, before Christ. From here, this Veda only, the Ayurveda, it is created or generated. Then we had Charak Samhita and Sushruta Samhita, which is compiled of so many Ayurvedic drug, which we are doing research today also, right? Then coming to the further continuing, Hippocrates in the Egypt history, right? Hippocrates in 460 to 370 before Christ, he is known as father of medicines. Then Aristotle came, Aristotle 384 to 322 BC, right? So this time zone also, it is very important when we are describing the history part, at what time period they have worked, right? So Aristotle is known as father of natural history, right? So remember the series of fathers here with the proper their name. So this has to be remember. You have to practice. You can practice this, and you can remind this. Theophrastus 370 to 287 BC, father of botany. Then we had Dioscorides 40 to 80 AD. Right, he prepared De Materia Medica, which was the compilation of 600 different crude drugs. Actually, 600 different crude drugs. So that is also actually great contribution at that period of time, right? Then after that, we are having this some more series of the scientist, right? After Dioscorides, there was Galen, right? So Galen, he was there at time of 131 AD, after date to 200. He is known as father of experimental physiology, and at the same time Galen is also known as the father of first pharmacist of the world, right? Means he is the first, he is regarded as the first pharmacist of the world. Later we had Lee Mary in he worked at the time of 1645 to 1715. What he told is the alcohol as an extractant, means alcohol is the very good solvent which will helping you to extract the phytoconstituents from the plant material or from the natural sources. This was told. Now we are doing lots of extraction with the alcohol only, and alcohol, it is regarded as a good extractant for the different types of extraction, right? So that's the Lee Mary's contribution, he told the first. Then we had William Wilthering in 1785. He told about foxglove leaves, right? Digitalis leaf was discovered by him, and he told its therapeutic importance. Then Serturner, Sertuerner, Serturner, very important scientist. 1806, he told about morphine was isolated from the opium. Means there is, in opium there are the morphine which can act as a potent analgesic. Then Stas and Otto came in 1852, and they told about the extraction process of alkaloid glycosides, right? So this was also it's one of the great contribution. Then Swede Linnaeus, right, in 1707 to 1778 AD. Then we had George Bentham 1800 to 1884, who was the English botanist, compiled told about so many of the medicinal plants and crude drugs. G.D. Hookers came in 1817 to 1911. Then Posselt and Raman, they in 1828 they told about nicotine from tobacco. The tobacco can be isolated. Nicotine can be isolated from the tobacco leaf or tobacco plant. So that is also very good contribution at that period of time. Okay. Then afterwards we can mention the another few things that is in history itself. Okay. So here are the some more scientist name which you can continue after 8 number. There is Newman, right? So Newman in 1860 he told about cocaine also can be isolated from opium. Then Hardy and Gallers in say 1877 he told about quabain. Then Girard and Hardy in 1875 they told about pilocarpine, right? Then Nagai in 1887 he told about ephedrine from ephedra alkaloids, right? From ephedra we can isolate the ephedrine. It was means discovered in 1887 by Nagai. Then later on Bentham and Hooker came 1862 to 63. They told about different types of plant botanical name, atlas and all those things. G. Mendels in 1865 he told about plant hybrids. Then Berg in 1865 again he developed the atlas for the crude drugs. Still also now also we are using these things, right? Then coming to the next the Greenish and Collin in 1904 they developed the atlas for powdered crude drug, like so like that series of what you call name of the scientist. Here we need to reveal the what is the name of the scientist, at what time period, what for they are known, means what is their contribution to the history of pharmacognosy, that you can mention in the series of this thing in chronological order, so that your answer may be impressive. So scope and development we will discuss in the next video. Thank you.